Hi everyone. I'm here to speak about my experience at my old job. I know most of y'all know that I got fired, and this is my side of the story of what happened to me. I'm tired of just letting it hang over my head. So, because it's a black cloud, um, I have a lot of mental issues because of this and everything else, and I just got to get it off my shoulders. And this is me getting it off my shoulders. It's going to be long. I'm going to have to do like 30 minutes of each video because I can't do the whole video because it's too long. So just bear with me and hopefully I can get this going. So let's start. Um, the company is a company in Shreveport. They deal with car wrap, vinyl, headlight, and tent kits and stuff, like tail light tent kits and stuff. They do most of their business online. So if anybody's watching this, most of y'all might have, not most, but some of y'all might have their products and stuff on your car. Um, and so this is basically what they did, not just did to me, but they did to their other workers too. It's not just, I ain't gonna sit there and claim that it all happened to me because it didn't. It happened to other people too. I just got the worst of it because my husband still worked there, and they couldn't just get away with what they did. So yeah, I got the worst end of the stick on it. So anyways, in March, it was like right before COVID, we were buying a house. Everything was doing good. We were in credit great. Everything was looking up. I mean, we both was working, and I mean, it seems like a really, like it was gonna be great or whatever. And they knew we were buying a house and everything. And I mean, everything was fine, and all of a sudden, you know, now we're struggling, barely paying bills, barely, probably, I don't know if we lose a house or not. I mean, we're struggling. We didn't have no bailout. We didn't have nobody to help us out. I mean, unemployment don't last that long, and I only got unemployment until I went back to work, and then I got fired again, and that's another long story. But um, I can't just go get another job. I mean, with my health and everything else, it's hard for me just to pick up and get another job. And before you say, well, I have tried. I've put, you know, I have tried to get things. I don't have no experience. I haven't worked that was the first job I've had in 18 years. Was a stay-at-home mom, and then I got rheumatoid arthritis, and between my health issues and not driving because of not being able to uh, see correctly, I see double and everything else. I got everything standing against me, and this job helped me get out of that. Um, you know, it was something that I could do. I could ride with him with my husband. I could, actually work and everything else. I mean, and they worked with me on my doctors because I have a lot of doctor's appointments and stuff, and they worked me on that. They let me make my own schedule. Um, I mean, they were awesome when it came to that. But let me clear this up. That was pre-Jeff. That was when Jeff was there. That was when the other owner was there, and he cared about people and everything else. And so, I mean, he was awesome. And so, it's not easy for me. I mean, there's days that I can't even hardly walk. There's days that I can't even open my hands and stuff like that. And this job kind of actually helped my hands and stuff because I was, doing stuff repeatedly and everything else. But it's hard to find a job that's like that you're not on your feet 24/7, or um, I have limitations. I mean, I can't lift stuff up. I can't write. Um, there's a lot of things that I can't do that most jobs require, and I have no experience really. And I mean, there's people right now that's trying to get a job that have experience that can't even get a job. So they really screwed me on this. I mean, it it sucks because I loved my job. I loved what I did. But anyway, we were getting a house and everything was going great. And I say now it's, and we had to get stuff and do stuff and bill out and bills, piled up and everything else, and it's not right and it's not fair. It's not. But, and I don't have no doubt in my mind if they wouldn't have done what they did, we wouldn't be in the situation that we are now. And I know for a fact we wouldn't be. But okay, we're buying a house, and so COVID happens. Can't, nothing you can do about that. So COVID happens, and all of a sudden, they have the restrictions, and we're in a room, and they're like saying that they're letting people go. But they did say that you will be coming back, that this is just temporary, that it's not that you will be coming back whenever the restrictions is lifted. And, they never said that, oh, well, you won't have your job, or anything like that. They did, rest assured that everybody will have their job when when all this comes up. Well, goes away or whatever. Well, I technically was able to work at home, but for maybe 3, I don't know, it was about 1 or 2 weeks. I don't even know if it was that long, to tell you the truth. It was not long. I was doing my job at home. And, and it was fine. And I even, where they wouldn't even think that I was, taking advantage of the situation, I wouldn't even, like, working all my normal hours and stuff, just to, because I just didn't want them to think that I was taking advantage of them and everything else. Well, my husband came in one day and proceeded to tell me I no longer have a job. Because, allegedly, the owner, not the owner, but the owner is a woman, she basically told them that the other owner is buying a house, and so they're letting people go. Basically, they were going to let most of the people go that was laid off. And this had nothing to do with money situations up there because they had business. I mean, they were making money. I mean, they do online sales. I mean, you think about it. If you're getting stimulus checks and you're at home, there ain't nothing you can do. Most people are going to want to wrap their car or do something with their car. They were making money. They were having business. And they were also helping hospitals and stuff like that too. So, I mean, it wasn't like they was not making money. So, yeah, he supposedly buying a house. And I don't understand why she even told them this. Because, I mean, it's something that you really don't want to tell people that, you're letting people go because of this. But she's, I don't know. I don't know why she told them this, but whatever. But supposedly, since they're doing that, they told them that they would give everybody a raise and insurance. Well, not everybody got a raise. My husband didn't get a raise. And I know for a fact that other people in shipping didn't get a raise. Probably other people around there didn't. I know the new manager. Oh, and another thing, at that time, my husband was the manager. He's been there. He's been a manager for 3 years, almost 4. Inventory. He did inventory. He did other stuff. That's what they hired him to do, and he did his job. Never had no issues. But the manager or whatever, I know he got one, and I think the inventory guy got one too. Allegedly, I'm saying allegedly, but because even the managers, I'm looking for a raise. I'm getting a raise, and you're getting fired. So go figure. So yeah, they basically let everybody go that for a house. I mean, there's no other way I can put it, because that's what was told to them. So, my husband was there when she said it. I even have where the manager was talking about, why does he need a house and everything else. So, I mean, it was said. And so, I mean, you know, so here I am. I'm out of a job. And yeah, we just bought a house. And don't get me wrong, my unemployment was more than what I was making. I was only making $11 an hour. But it was the fact that, I loved my job. I wanted to work. And I even offered to even come because they were getting behind. And I even offered to come in and, help them get caught up. And not even be paid. That's, yeah. That was my stupid self. Thinking that they're loyal. And I was trying to be loyal, And I even offered, and the manager's like, oh no, you're not coming in. They're going to need you. You're going to realize they're going to need you because you're a good worker. You do your job. You know your job. I mean, they need you. And yeah, I'm a fool. I mean, I'm not a fool because I knew exactly what he was doing. He's just a backstabber. But, so, yeah, I'm out of a job. And then my husband, okay, so later on, she's sitting there doing stuff. The one of the owners, the woman or whatever, and supposedly he's like telling me that she's like, "Why do we need to pay someone $11? I mean, not 11, 40 hours to do this?" And he was like supposedly telling her, "Oh well, she does a lot more. She does everything that she needs to do and more, and she helps us out a lot and everything else." And supposedly she was giving him dirty looks and stuff like that. And I don't know if this actually happened. To be honest, what come out of his mouth, I mean, okay, after her actions, I mean, I could see it, but also too, I think a lot of it was that she was being played to and manipulated by him. I think he was saying one thing to me and saying another thing to her. And so, I mean, I don't know if exactly that she was doing all that, but it was the fact, though, that after all this stuff that happened between me and her, I don't know. It could be a possibility. She could have done it. And let me get this straight, too. I've never had a problem with this lady. Never. I never had a problem with anybody up there. Never had a problem with any of the owners or anything like that. I came in, I did my job. I mean, even on my supposed to be write-ups, it even says that even before that, they never had a problem with me. So, I'm sitting here just wondering what's going on or whatever. So, a lot of people didn't even know they lost their job. There was one girl that, they were going to fire her, but she could come back because the other one couldn't come back, and I basically stood up for her and said, hey, she wants to come back to work, let her work, because the other one couldn't, because she lived in another state and the state was closed or whatever. But yeah, I stood up for someone, and nobody stood up for me, but that's how it goes. So yeah, she still has her job. Yeah, so, I'm sitting here, and then all of a sudden, I find out that they hired 2 temp people to do my job. And that's the thing, I never once said I did not want to go back to work. Even during COVID, I never once said I didn't want to go back to work. I always wanted to go back to work. I didn't want to stay on unemployment. I wanted to go back to work. But they kept telling my husband that, oh, well, we're not going to do kits, which is bull, because, I mean, even Jason knew that they were going to always have to have someone to do kits. I mean, that's just, no matter what they were going to do, they were going to have to. But they were trying to tell him that, they weren't going to need someone for 3 to 6 weeks. Yeah, okay. Well, it's just kind of funny, because when all this happened is when they got that bailout. Their little loan or whatever. So, all of a sudden, they weren't going to need someone. And then, 2 people started doing my job. And at that time, after that happened, my husband all of a sudden got his everything stripped from him. His manager position got stripped from him. His inventory got stripped from him. His backstabber friend got his and he hadn't even been there as long as Jason is. He got the manager position, and then the other guy, the other backstabber, got the inventory position. And he didn't even want the job. He couldn't even do the job. He got everything wrong, and then he didn't even want to do it. He complained the whole time. But he got paid very well for it. So, yeah, my husband got basically demoted, stripped of everything, and put in production. Which Jason was fine, you know, I mean, he, no matter what, he always puts 100% or 110% into his job or whatever he does it. No matter how many people stab him in the back and treat him like crap and don't realize of it, you know, the worker that he is. Even though it's a slap in the face, especially after all the stuff that he's done for him. I mean, he's bent over backwards to do everything for them. And, I mean, that's the thing, is that they don't pay attention to what goes on up there. They don't pay attention to who actually works and who don't work. I mean, there's some up there that likes, you know, to look like they're working, but they don't. But unless, you know, someone comes in the room that is important, and then they, you know, hustle, I'm working. And then they make it try to look like other people ain't working. Yeah, they're their type of people. So, they basically got rid of everybody. There was a few people they wanted to bring back, but I know 1 or 2 that wanted to come back, but they didn't want to come back right then when COVID hit. You know, it was still in a big thing. And they didn't even give them a chance. They hired somebody else, or didn't hire them. They never gave them a chance to come back, which was wrong, because they were supposed to have that chance to come back. But yeah, they didn't even, I mean, because there's one guy that he really wanted to go back, and he just was scared of COVID at that time, because he just had, you know, major health issues and stuff, and so he just wanted to wait a little while, and they wound up hiring somebody else to do his job. Didn't even give him a chance. I mean, I think he even wrote, you know, and tried to explain or tell them that, you know, he wanted to come back to work and everything else, but so yeah, he got screwed over too. And then, I was saying, husband got demoted, and I know why. Because they were hoping he'd quit. Because what they did was wrong. They should have never hired and get this, the temp people was the manager's girlfriend and the owner's girlfriend / fiance, wife, or whatever she is now. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, and he said something about, he tried to tell me some crap about, oh, well, you know, we had to make some tough decisions because of the, you know, COVID restrictions, which they were not even, whenever that was lifted. And I was working at home. So what kind of restrictions is that? Because I was working at home. I was doing my job. They were getting their products. I was doing everything. But all of a sudden I don't have a job. You get what I'm saying? And so, then he also said about the money situation or something like that. My thing is, I make $11 an hour. Wouldn't it be cheaper to hire me back and then hire two temp people? I mean, it'd be more money. Oh yeah, but wait a minute. There's some money that was going in their pocket, because one of them is the girlfriend of the owner. So, hey, free money. And so, yeah, Dade was doing my job. And let's say 3 people, y'all gotta excuse my hands, they're funky. 3 people was doing my job. I'm saying this for a reason. 3 people was doing my job, and probably other people too. It wasn't just, you know, it was 3 people doing my job. So, yeah, there's that. So then okay, so they worked and everything else, and whenever it got time for them, and whenever they got the money or whatever, they let them work overtime for like maybe a week. I don't know. It wasn't long because they had to show pay. They had to actually show that some of it did go back to the people or whatever. So they let them work overtime, which most of they're young. They don't care about overtime, but they let them work overtime for like a week or two. I don't even know if it's that long, to tell you the truth. And then they basically gave them a bonus. And so it was kind of funny that all of a sudden, after they all that was done or whatever, I get a phone call saying that they was wanting me to come back. And I know why. Because they knew what they did was wrong. Because I should have never lost my job in the first place. They should have never replaced me with two people. They should have let me come back. I was working at home. They should have never fired me in the first place. They should have let me work at home until they could, the restrictions was up or whatever. But no, they couldn't do that. So, I got a phone call, and I'm like, okay, well, I didn't answer it because I didn't know what was going on. So, I was like, asked my husband what was going on. He said, I think they want you back. And so I was like, okay, well, I wrote the owner, the main owner or whatever that night, and just to see what was going on, because the way they were treating Jason and everything, I just needed to know that it's going to be something permanent and not nothing that was going to be just a quick thing and then I'll lose my job. That's no point even coming in, because I was still on my unemployment and stuff like that, and but the thing is, I wanted my job because unemployment is not it's not forever. So I wanted my job. So we talk, and I start, and he gaslit me. He manipulated me and gaslit me. You can read the things he did. He manipulated me. He just told me bullcrap that he thought I wanted to hear. I even tried to tell him about the things that was going on up there, and I was like, there's things that Jason knows that he won't say because he's not a backstabber. He thinks hard work is going to pay off, but up there that don't work that way. Only backstabbing does. And so he basically, he's like, okay, well, we're giving bonus checks out, and I'll have a meeting with him and listen to him. So I'm like, okay. And it was like a long thing that we were talking or whatever, and you just have to read it just to see what he just was saying or whatever. It was gaslighting. Sorry. But so he basically, the next day, and the bonus wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It's nothing to complain about, And so my husband goes in there, and then like right when they were fixing to have their meeting, guess who walks in? The other owner. Yeah, that's not planned at all. They knew exactly what they were doing. They just didn't want him to. They didn't care. They didn't want to hear what he had said because they didn't want him there, because he was the last key to. But he knew so much stuff that they couldn't just fire him like that. That's the thing. He knew a lot of stuff. They couldn't fire him because he knew so much stuff that they didn't know how to do. And so, even after they took his manager position, guess what? People still came to him. They still went to him. Because nobody else knew what they were doing. But he's not manager. And everybody was so confused about that, why he was not the manager. I don't know. So, because they, they know that they think that, oh, we drop him down, we demote him and everything, and we make him look small or whatever, that he'll quit. But he couldn't quit. I mean, there's just nothing he could do. I mean, he was making good money too. I mean, that's hard to quit something that you're making, good money and everything else, even though you're being screwed over, and it's a hard thing to do. And he loved his job. I mean, he loved what he did. He hated the people there, but he loved what he did. And then, oh yeah, and the reason why they demoted him is because they basically said that he bought the wrong kind of water, and that he was stressed out because he bought the wrong kind of water. And then there was like two other things that nothing should even would have, made him be demoted or whatever else, but the wrong kind of water. That's it. But yeah, so he got, they thought that he would, just up and quit, and he didn't. So, because they're trying to cover their butts, because they shouldn't have did what they did. There shouldn't have been two people doing my job. I mean, I don't know how else to explain this, that they committed the F word. I'm sorry, it is, because what they did was wrong. Because I should have came back, or I should have been able to work at home. They should have never been able to do what they did. So, and then, like I say, that meeting, they just didn't care. They didn't want to hear them. They wasn't planning on hearing them. I mean, I don't have no doubt in my mind that whenever he was coming in there, he wrote him and said, "Oh, he's coming in here," because she walked in, and then he tried to roll his eyes like, she's here or something like that. But never once, because after that, he never once asked him anything. So yeah, that's what we dealt with. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. I'm just gonna go to part 2, and this is whenever I start back up there and everything else. Because I won't have to do it in little bitty things. So here's part 1, and it's fixing to get interesting. It's fixing to be more drama, so stay tuned.